All right,
There's
let's check this video out. This video is called "The Lost Era of Anime Will Never Get Back" from Bane. I don't think I've ever watched one of his videos, but I've been holding off on watching this video on my own just so I can watch it with y'all. So we're gonna watch this. Don't be afraid to give your input, because I like to have people's inputs that's watching the videos with me when I edit the video and shit like that. So let's check it out.
There's a kind of anime Japan literally cannot make anymore. Not won't, can't. And these types of anime will never be made ever again.
Nope. And that's the thing. You see how like all these animes look? Like it's not like 4K HD. It's very jagged lines, darkness. The colors that are vivid are very vivid, but it's like very like dark colors. Like anime used to look like anime. Like now you could tell the difference between a Saturday morning cartoon and anime, and now you can't. Now anime just looks like, I don't know, it all looks like Saturday morning cartoons. Like I can't distinguish what's a new TV show and what's new anime anymore, like at all.
The ominous ambiance, the ethereal scenery, the beautiful grotesque violence is something that Japan cannot produce in the same capacity. These shows were born in a window of time when studios had too much freedom, too little oversight, and just enough madness.
Yeah, I think now the studios got a lot to do with it. Like the producers are coming and they're tapping the artists on the shoulder and they're like, yeah, draw faster, make 4K. I think the whole thing now is like 4K, everything has to be 4K quality. And back then in the 90s, in the early 2000s, there was like no 4K quality. So it's like, I don't know, the drawings, the animation just looks so different. It looked better, man. Like, I don't know.
And then one day, they disappeared. So there's just one thing I gotta know. What the hell happened to them? What killed this breed of anime? What changed so drastically that something this bold, this strange, this specific just stopped being made? Why do they feel like relics from another dimension? First, we need to figure out what these shows even were. And by the end of this, not only will you know exactly what kind of anime I'm talking about, you'll have a list of the most must-watch shows from this generation. And you'll understand why we'll never get anything like them.
And that's why that Neon Genesis shit is coming back. That's why they're gonna remake it, and when they remake it, it's gonna look way different. Oh, of course, it's gonna be updated, but that's why it's coming back, because people prefer old anime. I've been preaching this for the longest time, telling people how I love late 90s and early 2000s anime. It gives you the vibe. You know why I think I love that anime so much? For some reason, when I watch old anime from late 90s, early 2000s, it reminds me of watching Adult Swim. I think that's what it is. It gives me like a nostalgia feeling. Like, I can't explain it.
Ever again. In 1983, a Japanese dude released a series that would spark a shift in anime so great, it shaped the next 2 decades. The series was called Dallos. It was totally unremarkable in terms of its story by modern standards, only remarkable in the way that it was released. Dallos was never shown on TV. Instead, it was immediately sent to video stores as
I'm not gonna say it yet, but
a
y'all keep
VHS
watching.
tape, marking it as the first ever OVA. Original Video Animation. This is Angel's Egg.
One of the best animes ever created. Literally one of the best.
After Dallos shocked all of Japan in 1983, studios quickly followed. So it was only 2 years later until we got this masterpiece. Set in a desolate primordial world where only a single girl wanders. All she wants is to protect this egg. She thinks it'll hatch into an angel, and maybe that'll fix the emptiness around her. But what happens when someone tries to break that egg? What happens when that egg breaks? What's so gripping from Angel's Egg is its atmosphere. It's how a story with almost no dialogue, only 2 characters in an ocean of silence, can be so distinct. The setting, the ominous music, mixed with how the movie lingers on stills, builds an encompassing eerie tension that made me stew in my own thoughts until I couldn't help but be flooded with questions. It's spectacular, one of the most evocative anime I've ever seen. Something like this is only possible because it's an OVA. Now imagine for a second you tried pitching something like this to a modern production committee, and they'd look
They would shoot that shit down and laugh at you in your fucking face. No way we're making an anime movie with no dialogue. Never gonna happen.
at you like you were insane. But that's the thing. OVAs weren't built for mass appeal. They weren't meant to fill airtime or rake in box office numbers, because OVAs were designed to be bought physically before anyone ever saw a single frame. No TV broadcasts, no theatrical runs, just straight to VHS.
Look at the lines.
And that gave creators a rare kind of freedom to make something stranger,
look at how good anime
slower,
looked.
more specific.
Look at how good that looks. That looks like anime. That looks like anime, man. It creates a difference between anime and cartoons. Like, I don't feel like I'm watching a cartoon. I feel like I'm watching something animated digitally with a story. You know what I mean? Like, it puts you in a different realm of perspective.
Designed for a niche audience, with no time slots to fill, no censors to please, no runtime restrictions to worry about. It was just a director's unfiltered vision. This allowed them to create such distinct works that are missing in modern anime. Which leads me to the next OVA that you might have missed, and I don't say this lightly. It might be the weirdest, most visually unhinged thing I've ever seen. Meet Catsup, an experimental short film released in 2001. It follows the story of these two cats in particular, where this one tragically passes away, and while her soul is leaving her body, her sibling does everything he can to stop it, resulting in her soul splitting in two, which leaves his sister as a husk of her former self. So he goes on an adventure through the land of the dead to try to bring her back to how she once was. It sounds dramatic to say, but this might genuinely be one of the weirdest, most original things I've ever watched. Experiencing a surreal, dialogue-free film centered around these two characters that's filled with existential imagery of a world collapsing in on itself is not something I could have ever expected. I mean that in the best way possible. The series is a perfect example of how wildly experimental an OVA can be. It has an awkward runtime of 35 minutes, it has no dialogue, and it has these stupid looking cats as the main characters. It's the kind of thing that would never get greenlit today. Likewise, I'd be shocked if you could find a current series as unapologetically provocative as this comedy OVA masterpiece.
They do not make them like that no more. So what I was going to say earlier, try not to pause the video too much, but when I was growing up, when I was in my teens and shit, and I was really into anime, you had to like, for new anime, to like find new anime before it was like readily and widely available online, you had to go to your local anime shops. And like, I still go to local anime shops. I buy my figurines and stuff, and I get manga from there. But like now, it's so like mainstream. Like when I walk in there, the anime shop, there's like on a Friday, if I go before work, or Saturday afternoon, there's 6-7 people in there sometimes. When I was growing up, I walked into an anime shop. That shit was dead. It was a ghost town. They didn't have nearly as many figurines. Like now, when I go to, there's fucking both walls are filled up with figurines. There's all types of manga. There's mouse pads. There's a fucking your dollar bins. The dollar bins have like all these like shit that people that they got somehow. I don't know, like broken figurines, fixed figurines. You got to put stuff together and source what you want. Stickers, pins, all types of stuff. Like that didn't exist. That's how much anime is a multi-billion-dollar business a year. These studios are making billions of dollars, like each studio, not one, but like some of these studios are making hundreds of millions off of one. Solo Leveling, I'm pretty sure Solo Leveling made dumb cheese like last year when it was like hype. Like, bro, this shit, like, but growing up, yeah, it was really hard to find new anime. Like, some anime would release and it would be only in Japanese and it would only be on DVD. So you couldn't find it online until somebody ripped it on like uTorrent, right? So you had to fucking go to an anime shop, and then the guy, whoever worked at the anime shop, was like the guru to you. That was like the sensei, because he knew how to get all the fucking anime. And you got to order with him. He orders some DVD from an obscure website, and then it takes like 2 weeks to get to you, and you come back and you got a little bit of money. You got like $20. Man, it was like a drug business almost, dude.
Now, Golden Boy is almost the OVA of OVAs to be watching from that older generation. It came out in 1995 with a dub that rivals the legendary titan of comedy anime dubs, Ghost Stories.
Think of a big black man chasing you!
What the fuck? That's so fucked up.
Well, he's not racist.
Golden Boy is a show that embodies the, yo, let's all get fucked up and watch this show at 3 a.m. and laugh our asses off. Its formula is simple. New episode, new job, new girl, Kentaro starts tweaking out. And usually leads to chaos and life lessons. Nothing groundbreaking here. But here's the thing, it didn't really need to be. Back then, you would get this type of joke.
You son of a...
Now, you get something along the lines of this. That's a night and day difference, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they do come from completely different places.
Different generations.
It's not just about laughs, it's about what we expect from a comedy and what we're willing to laugh at. See,
But it's the same thing with the one movie with Rush Hour. The jokes that were said in Rush Hour by today's standards would never fly, right? The whole black man and Asian man going back and forth saying pretty racist shit to each other, but the whole audience laughed. And I remember Rush Hour came out and we went after school to watch it. Everybody was laughing. You can't make those type of jokes in media today, like the pervert jokes, the racist jokes. And I'm not saying like they should exist in today's media. I get it. Everybody's kind of more aware of everybody else's feelings, but like it doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean?
80s and 90s, OVAs were being sold directly to fans. You had to buy the damn thing if you wanted to watch it, which means the only people watching these shows were the hardcore
anime fans, like I said.
Fucking gooners who could only think about anime titties and spending money on that shit. So, of course, studios weren't trying to hit mass appeal. The masses literally couldn't watch these things. Instead, what rose to the top were the weird, the provocative, the unforgettable. And that's why you get jokes like this.
My queen! Oh, you're so naughty!
That's comedy gold to them. Today, with anime on every streaming platform, creators are thinking broader. Anyone can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. So creators aim for a wide appeal. And because OVAs were targeted at very specific demographics, you don't see a lot of tropes you're used to in modern anime. No high school settings, no power of friendship speeches.
Nope. I think that's why Windbreaker did so good, because Windbreaker kind of reminds me of a traditional anime. It's very grounded. It's straight fighting, fists. Got high school students. Basically, they're in high school, but basically they're not, because I don't never see them in class, and they just do what the fuck they want. And I think that's why Windbreaker was just a really good anime, man. Like it gave me a lot of the original feel of watching an older anime, and I think I really, stuff like that resonates with me from coming from a different generation of anime. Now power scaling in anime is so different. Like, you got these characters that can destroy whole universes. And old anime was like about simple problems, you know what I mean? Like solving simple problems. But I think the scaling of the action was different as well, you know what I mean?
Instead, you get stuff that's cut from a more unique cloth. And well, because of who these shows were made for, you get things like this. This is Bubblegum Crisis, a slick cyberpunk OVA from 1987.
Cyberpunk animes, I'm sorry, back in the day, looked so much better than current cyberpunk animes. Look at this world they created. You know what I'm saying? Like the people are like these pop colors, and in the background it's like this like 80s reminiscent but still cyberpunk world where it's like it's very dark in hue, like dark hues, but then like some of the words still pop. Man, that looks so good.
Evan, that
man.
oozes style. It follows an all-female squad of mercenaries fighting corrupt mega corporations, rogue robots, and whatever else needs blowing up in a neo-lit Tokyo. And it might have the sickest opening 5 minutes I've ever seen in anime. It doesn't start with a little character introduction. It doesn't even start with a normal anime opening. It just hits you full on with a J-rock/city pop performance like a music video from a cooler timeline. It's not even an opening theme, it's just a song. Because why not? You would never get anything like that today in anime. Or how about Wicked City?
One of the most well-known anime gifs is from this anime right here. This gif is so fucking popular in the anime community. It is crazy. And this is so simple. Look at these dark tones. Like, this is what it really looks like if you're driving into New York or something over the bridge and it's like 3 a.m. This is what it really looks like. You know what I'm saying? This shit looks so good, man.
Now, this one's for more real degenerates. The basic setup is this. There's a barrier between the human world and the demon world, but it's getting weaker, and demons disguised as people start leaking into the human world. And let's just say, if you take the wrong girl home from a bar, you might not be waking up. You're catching every demon STD known to man and dying with zero dignity. So it follows a stoic demon hunter and a demon woman as they're tasked with protecting this man who will restore that barrier. It's sleazy, it's stylish, it's a little fucking sexual, but I gotta be honest, there's still something cool about it.
Look how good
Not
that
because of the
looks.
weird sex pest energy, but because it's bold. It was made with an audience in mind that doesn't really exist anymore. An audience that wanted violence, horniness, and some of the sickest hand-drawn animation you've ever seen. Every time I saw this scene, I was
Like,
like,
that shit is classic.
I love this stupid car, man. Now
Yeah.
there's one more type of OVA that we need to talk about. I'm talking about OVAs born from early hype. When a manga was so gassed out of the gate, studios couldn't wait. They just had to cash in, even if it meant rushing out tiny half-baked adaptations way before the story was ready. Like Gunsmith Cats. It follows Rally and Minnie, two girls who run a gun shop by day and are bounty hunters by night. But here's the thing, the OVA isn't even a straight adaptation of the manga. It's an original side story. However, it's still pretty damn good. It's cute, it's fun, it's got some absolutely fire animation, and the opening looked so damn good. But when you watch it, you can feel that it's just a glimpse of what the full story could have been if it ever got a proper adaptation. Then there's also Yokohama Shopping Log, a quiet, reflective series set after humanity's decline in a post-cataclysm.
Look at that, man. That's anime, bro. Bro, back in the day, Adult Swim used to run shows like this. When Adult Swim first started, they were running animes like this. And then I don't know what happened. It just feel like, it feel like all the nerdy shit as I got older just lost its soul. Maybe I'm getting older, but at the same time, I feel like once everything becomes more mainstream, it just loses its soul. Same thing with gaming. Like, bro, playing COD at 3, 4 a.m. as a teenager was like the fucking best shit ever. Gaming with your buddies and shit. It don't feel the same no more. You know what I'm saying? I think maybe that's because the progression of the games and anime, all media in general, the progression has changed. There's a goal now. Like with anime, when I watch Solo Leveling, I know that shit is making money. I know, and maybe that's why I like Dr. Stone so good, because Dr. Stone so much, because Dr. Stone is like a really good anime, and it's really grounded in like storytelling, getting to know the characters, breaking down one problem at a time, you know?
World. It just follows a robot girl, living peacefully among the remnants of a fading world. It's cozy. It's slow. It's the anime equivalent of sitting on a porch with a cup of tea and watching the sunset. And it's so good
it's a cozy
precisely
anime.
because it doesn't try to overdo it. There are tons of OVAs like these, early adaptations where studios bet big on a manga's potential, sometimes way too early. But that's the part of what makes them so special. Today, if a manga popped off like this, you'd expect a 13 to 25 episode full season.
I can't lie, Dan and Dan is still like my favorite modern show. That's my favorite modern anime. Like, it's not even close. Season 1. Season 2 is kind of eh. But I think season 1 still has the best opening intro of any modern anime. That season 1, that shit slaps so hard.
But back then, you might get 2 episodes in a VHS release. It would be like if someone adapted Chainsaw Man into an 8-episode OVA in 2019. Sure, this was gonna get an anime, but if you jump the gun that early, it's just too soon. That's why these early OVAs feel kinda like time capsules. They're not full adaptations. They're whispers of what could have
original
been,
bizarre.
snapshots of potential before the story's even fully bloomed. And if you're a fan of the original manga, these OVAs feel like little treasures. But it's not just OVAs that captured that feeling. It's not just the short, rough gems that we'll never see made this way again. There's a whole other side to this lost era of anime, and that's the films. So let me talk about a story that embodies that loss of grit, and is also my favorite anime film of all
You already
time.
know this is the one that inspired Demon Hunters. Ninja Scroll. Vampire Hunter, yeah. Vampire Hunter is very good. But Ninja Scroll, that shit inspired so many animes.
Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust follows D, a bounty hunter hired to retrieve a girl abducted by a vampire nobleman, Baron Meyer. At the same time, another group is hired for the same mission. The two parties race after Meyer, crossing deserts
That
and
shit
wandering
looks
through
so
swamps and breaking into invisible hideouts and clashing with shapeshifters and shadow weavers and werewolves all along the way. But the twist is, Charlotte wasn't kidnapped. She went with Meyer willingly, which throws everything into chaos. Will the bounty hunters stick with their contracts or let Charlotte live by her own choices? The straight up plot is not my real source of obsession with Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I think it instead stems from the nuggets of an ending dedication to the minute details of the film. Its mystical creatures, its distinct character designs, its grandiose backgrounds, its
That shit, I'm about to go watch that.
elegant frames, its sweeping dynamic camera shots. It's these little details that flesh out the world and breathe all of the life into the story. And to me, the one moment that really captures that magic happens right after Dee's first encounter with the Marcus brothers. After the encounter, he rides alone into an empty desert. He dismounts from his horse, kneels by the ground, and examines faint tracks in the sand. At first, it feels quiet, still, like nothing is out there. And then you realize he's standing before a herd of sand mantas. And without hesitation, Dee leaps onto their backs, riding them across the wasteland. It's a scene that doesn't need many words. It doesn't need a fight. It's pure atmosphere, pure world building executed perfectly.
It's fucking aura.
And to me, that's the real beauty of Bloodlust. It's not about the flashiest fight choreo. It's not about having the most lavishly detailed backgrounds. It's about the elegance of the world itself. The quiet sense that this strange dying universe existed long before you started watching it and will keep existing after
Long
you're gone.
after,
When you
yep.
see shots like this, you can almost feel the world Dee lives in. And when the film shifts from scenes like this to this, you can sense the vastness of the journey. The dedication to every detail in Bloodlust is overwhelming, and given a little more context, the story of why becomes a bit more clear. Back in 1985, there was another Vampire Hunter D movie, but compared to Bloodlust, it felt rushed, so much so that the original creator constantly criticized it. That failure lit a fire under the team behind Bloodlust, and I think it shows. Every frame feels handcrafted and
drawing
deliberate,
frame
and
by
in a way
frame.
that Bloodlust would never understand. It was kind of like a farewell letter to an era. Because the truth is, anime like this only existed because of a perfect storm. A booming economy, loose censorship, and studios willing to throw cash at bizarre, risky
Yeah, censorship is a big one nowadays. You got these, since that censorship with music and media and all that shit now, they pretty much telling the animators what they can and can't animate, what they can put in shows, what they can put in movies. So I mean, I guess that did play a big part in why anime changed.
visions. OVAs and films alike thrived in that chaos. But when Japan's economy collapsed in the 90s, the Wild West days dried up. Budget shrank and risk tolerance disappeared. In 1994, there were 70 different OVAs. In 2024, just 5. That era is gone. And with it, a kind of anime that felt experimental, raw, and unforgettable. Sure, sparks of that energy still show up in shows like Devilman Crybaby or Cyberpunk Edgerunners, but they're rare. And maybe that's why these shows feel so special.
I couldn't get into Devil May Cry at all. I didn't like the animation at all. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes and it was just not good. I just couldn't get into it. I mean, compared to what Devil May Cry used to be, the old short, yeah, I didn't like it.
Not because they're perfect, but because they couldn't be made today. They were snapshots, strange, messy, and beautiful proof that anime once played by different rules. And now, they're waiting for someone curious enough to find them, dust them off, and remember what anime used to be capable of.
It's a great video. Again, this video is called The Lost Era of Anime We'll Never Get Back by Bane or Bond, I guess. Yeah, it's a really interesting conversation. I guess all things change at some point, but I think when it comes to anime, after, growing up with anime and then seeing what it is today, it's a completely different ball game. And I understand why it's a money-based economy, or economy is money-based, but it's a money-based, form of media now. It's just like putting out a trading card game. It's just like putting out a clothing line. Like, they're releasing these shows with the intent of making money. And my biggest takeaway from his film and from my personal experiences with anime, it feels like animators used to create anime with the goal of making good anime for the love of the game, and now it feels like animators make anime with the goal of making money. And a lot of anime feels soulless, man. Like all these carbon copies of the same shit. Like look at Solo Leveling and then look at Jack of All Trades. It's the same fucking shit, man. But yeah, good video. If you want to watch it, I'm gonna have it linked in the description. But yeah, good night. Appreciate everybody for coming through. Don't forget when the video comes out, like, comment, and subscribe. Show some love. Appreciate everybody for hanging out during the stream. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.